The Zeb and Deb Phonics program presents Vocabulary Word Bank number 4. This helps prepare students for working on worksheet number 4 that goes with a short A story by Debbie Dunn called Al Ant and the Bad Asp. By the way, the Zeb and Deb brother and sister team want to remind you that A makes 4 main sounds. It makes the short A sound that you hear in apple. It makes the long A sound that you hear in safe. It also makes the aw sound that you hear in water. And it makes the sound that you hear in I am aghast. Zeb said, "The letter A makes 4 main sounds. A, aw, and Now, my sister Deb will explain how this program is going to work." Deb said, "That's right. You're going to see a series of 15 words. With each word, you're going to decide which A sound does the A in that particular word or syllable make." Here's the directions. The narrator will read each word aloud. Then you repeat the word. After that, have your teacher pause the video. During that time period, you're going to figure out which sound the A in that particular word made. If it made the short A sound, then that word on the following screen will float up to the first slot. If the A in that particular word makes the long A sound, then the word on the next screen will float up to the second slot. If the A in that word makes the sound, then on the following screen, that word is going to float up to the third slot. And finally, if the A in that word makes the sound, then on the following screen, that word will float up to the fourth slot. After that, you continue playing the video to find out if you were correct. Have fun with this. Repeat after me. Alas. We're focusing on the first A in the word alas. Which slot does it float into? Pause the video until you figure it out. Read the word with me. Alas. Which slot does it float into? Did you get it right? Well, then I won't have to say, alas, you got it wrong. And of course, here's this character saying, alas, I got a bad grade. Repeat after me, alas. This time we're focusing on the second A in the word, alas. Which slot does it float into? Pause the video until you figure it out. Read the word with me, alas. Which slot does it float into? Did you get it right? Well, then you won't be like that character that says, "Alas, I got a bad grade." Because you got a good grade. Yay! Repeat after me. Can, can't, cannot. We're focusing on the middle word, can't. Which slot does it float into? Pause the video until you figure it out. Read the word with me. Can't. Which slot does it float into? Did you get it right? Well, then you won't have to say, "I can't do that." And now here's our little cartoon. There's the trick-or-treaters saying, "Trick or treat, may we have some candy?" And then imagine the person at the door saying, "Yes, you can." Or maybe the person at the door says, "No, you can't." Or they say, "No, you cannot." Well, I like it better when they say, "Yes, you can," don't you? Repeat after me. Name. Which slot does it float into? Pause the video until you figure it out. Read the word with me. Name. Which slot does it float into? Did you get it right? Well, good. Now, this particular character's name is Dasher. He says, "My name is Dasher." Repeat after me. Anne. Which slot does it float into? Pause the video until you figure it out. Read the word with me. Anne. Which slot does it float into? Did you get it right? Well, good. Now notice, when you have a word following the article an or a, if it begins with a vowel like apple, then you're going to use an. But if it begins with a consonant like red, then you're going to use a. Notice these two sentences. The ant is carrying an apple. Apple begins with A, so we used an instead of a. Versus the second sentence that says, the ant is carrying a red apple. Since red begins with a consonant, we're using a instead of an. Repeat after me. Want. Which slot does it float into? Pause the video until you figure it out. Read the word with me. Want. Which slot does it float into? Did you get it right? Well, good. Now notice our baby saying, "I want you." Or perhaps your Valentine will say, "I want you." Repeat after me. Admit. Which slot does it float into? Pause the video until you figure it out. Read the word with me. Admit. Which slot does it float into? Did you get it right? Well, good. I admit that you got it right. I agree. Now notice our pictures. The first one is, this ticket will admit you onto the roller coaster. And the second one is, I admit that I was scared of the butterfly. Whoa! Repeat after me. Ran. Which slot does it float into? Pause the video until you figure it out. Read the word with me. Ran. Which slot does it float into? Did you get it right? Well, good job. Now let's root for the gingerbread man who's trying to get away from that wolf. He ran and ran and ran. I hope he makes it to safety. Repeat after me. Was. Which slot does it float into? Pause the video until you figure it out. Read the word with me. Was. Which slot does it float into? Did you get it right? Well, good job. Now notice our character. He was playing on the merry-go-round all by himself. Repeat after me. Are. Which slot does it float into? Pause the video until you figure it out. Read the word with me. Are. Which slot does it float into? Did you get it right? Well, good. Now notice, those kids are playing on the merry-go-round. Repeat after me. Wakes. Which slot does it float into? Pause the video until you figure it out. Read the word with me. Wakes. Which slot does it float into? Did you figure it out? Well, that means that you are wide awake. Now notice our pictures. We have a wake-up call. We have the three bears saying to Goldilocks, "Wake up!" And then we have that cat who was asleep, and now he or she is awake. Repeat after me. What? Which slot does it float into? Pause the video until you figure it out. Read the word with me. What? Which slot does it float into? Did you get it right? Well, then I can say, guess what? Or what's new? You got it right. That's what's new. Good job, everybody. Repeat after me. Gasp. Which slot does it float into? Pause the video until you figure it out. Read the word with me. Gasp. Which slot does it float into? Did you get it right? Well, then good. I won't have to go, gasp, you didn't get it right. Now notice our queen who goes, gasp, there's a ghost. And then there's little Miss Muffet who goes, gasp, it's a spider. Ah! Repeat after me. Way. Which slot does it float into? Pause the video until you figure it out. Read the word with me. Way. Which slot does it float into? Did you get it right? Well, then I won't have to say, no way, you messed up. Now notice our road signs. They're all one-way road signs. The teacher will give you a worksheet that ties in with this video. It looks like this. Your first job is to write your name on this sheet. Let's read the directions. Directions. Here are 15 words from the story called Owl Ant and the Bad Asp. Cut them out and glue or tape them on a sheet of paper in ABC order. You will need a piece of paper, some scissors, and some tape or glue. Cut out these words. Tape or glue them in ABC order. Be certain to write your name on that page too. All right, you're ready. Zeb said, "Stay tuned for other tales and activities created for the Zeb and Deb Phonics program." Deb said, "These were created by professional storyteller and certified K-8 teacher Debbie Dunn." Have a great day, everybody. Yeah, have a great day. We'll see you next time.